Now, we're going to make a little bit of a transition to another fantastic hero, you know, someone who has a lot of muscles and is not afraid to show it, because we've got Cliffhanger coming up. Cliffhanger, yeah, it was based off of a movie. Just trust me on that. It was definitely set on or based off of a movie with Sylvester Stallone. Am I right? Because this means that we have more than one Sylvester Stallone game or Sylvester Stallone video game during this marathon. So let's get ready for Cliffhanger. Cliffhanger.
Alright, looks like we're live. Cool. Looks like we're live. I am live. I just got word. Cool. So you guys are seeing an idle animation in the game that I didn't know about until today, where if you don't move at all, Sylvester Stallone sits there and dances until he's dead. So, yeah, this is Cliffhanger for Game Boy. It has super good music. You're going to hear about the same 2 songs for the next 10 minutes. So, anyway, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. So the game it's based off the movie if you've ever watched it. At the start of the stage, it's going to be exceptionally slow. If you've ever watched the NES version, the NES speedrun of this, it's very similar until about the end of the game. We need to get boots and able to run, and we need to be able to have boxing gloves to climb a mountain. So with the first jump coming up here, if you jump too early, you will not actually make that jump. You actually have to be off of the platform and press A. So Sylvester Stallone is like a frame or so off of the actual platform itself before he'll actually make the jump. These ropes are the absolute devil. So here now we can start running. For marathon safety, since the controls in this game are really bad and slippery, we're going to take this section fairly slow. If you can time your run and jumps, fine, you can do that, but the controls are really slippery. The controls, you have to hold up and right or up and left to run, and if you just remove up and just hold right, Stallone will just keep running, and then just eventually slide off an edge and die. Sometimes your A input will just get eaten, and Stallone just won't jump at all. That section you're supposed to use a rope to climb over it, but you know, you can just make the jump if you run and jump over it. There is fall damage in this game, so this next section here we have some ladders and some rocks falling down. The issue at this stage is whenever you're climbing a ladder, if you get hit by a rock, you get knocked off the ladder. The rock falling down is completely random. You don't know where they're going to fall from or how big the rock is going to be. Depending on the size of the rock, depends on how much damage it does to you. If you're running and jumping, your forward momentum is fine unless you get hit by a rock, and then your forward momentum is gone and you'll probably fall to your death. If we were to fall from a high place here, we would just fall down and just die as well. This becomes more important towards the end of the game when we actually have to climb up the mountain. So here we got some more lore that we don't care about. For the most part, level 2 is just a lot of running. This is going to introduce our first boss here soon. I found 2 route changes in this category within the last like 2 days. There is a route change in this stage to make it slightly faster. So we'll see if I decide to go for it or not. Making this jump will decide. Alright, so we're not going to do it. So we're going to do the scripted fight right here. If we went the bottom route, which I was hoping we'd get, we wouldn't have to fight that guy at all. We can just keep going across the screen. But it all depends. If you can't maintain your running speed on the bottom route at all, the top and bottom route are about the same speed at that point. So you get these knives. They're okay. They're kind of useless because if something hits them, then they don't do anything. Oh yeah, we'll talk about the stuff at the bottom. So at the bottom there, you're seeing Celsius and you're seeing some currency. The only way to heal yourself in this game is to burn money at a campfire, which you'll see coming up here semi-soon. These jumps here I have to be very particular about, like I have to be off of the platform to make those jumps. And I have some meatballs running down the hill here to hurt us. So the money there you're going to see go down once I walk over this campfire at the bottom. And this is the only way to heal in the game that I know of. Your hit points is your temperature gauge at the bottom. So here, you're probably not going to see much of the boss. You're going to see his fist maybe hit me a couple times, and then you're going to see like a 1 pixel sprite fall to the bottom of the screen on the right hand side. You're not going to see too terribly much. Outside of that, the next stage here you're going to see is probably the hardest stage in the game. It has 3 wolves in it. The fun part about this game is making the wolves glitch. So this was the hardest stage in the game. So this stage here has also gotten a route change. The issue with this game is, well, one of the issues with this game is that whenever you fall, Stallone stops all of his momentum and does an animation to fall and to land and do everything else he feels like doing. So we want to try and jump over chasms and jump off of ledges as much as we can without losing much momentum. And yes, you can fall through that wall right there and die. Sometimes you just won't have forward momentum at all, so when you jump into a wall, Stallone will just go straight up and down. You'll see this more in the cave level coming up. This is probably my favorite scene in the entire game. You punch a guy into the hill and just ride him down it. So here we're going into the cave section. The upcoming boss used to be one of the hardest bosses in this game. So in the NES version, if you've ever played it, this boss is a complete joke and you punch him like 5 times and he's done. However, when they ported this game to Game Boy, they really messed something up when they ported this to Game Boy. And he became one of the hardest bosses I think I have fought in a while in a game like this. So we want to make sure we get this gun. This gun is imperative when we fight him. So here is when the vertical jumping becomes an issue. So we're going to try and get quick mitts, and we're going to get them. So we get these boxing gloves early, and what this allows us to do is that it allows us to climb the mountain immediately towards the end of the game instead of having to jump to a lower corner to grab the boxing gloves. So here we're about to approach the cave boss, just one big jump. And here he is. He's pretty dangerous looking. He can hit you even if it doesn't look like he hits you. So we're going to use the gun a few times to shoot him. So the hitboxes on this are really bad. If you're inside of the boss, you can't hit the boss, but the boss can hit you. You have to be well outside of the actual boss sprite itself to hit him. If you're not, then well, you're kind of SOL. So here we go. We finished the cave. Moving on to the actual hardest stage of the run itself. So this stage here has a lot of pitfalls. I've mentioned that the controls aren't super good in this game. However, this level now introduces moving platforms that we have to be able to jump on. And it's not hard, but you don't want to fall on them because Stallone has a falling animation, and there is a 99% chance that you'll just fall through the log if you just fall on the log. So here, we're going to try the first jump. Alright, we failed. So if you can jump late, if you can time your jump fine on that one, you can make that jump and keep running across and make the stage a lot faster. It's a pretty tight jump. I figured I'd give it one try. So here you can actually slide off of that hill and fall to your death very easily. The controls are quite slippery in this game. So here we get to wait for another log. So in the NES version, you don't have to wait for those logs at all. In the NES version, you can actually just, there's another platform there you can run and jump on top of and not have to worry about the moving platforms at all. So there is a bit of a difference between the NES and Game Boy version, even though they are a very, very close port to one another. No, you just run into enemy attacks. Correct. Ooh, that was close. Your health refills in between every stage that you go into, thankfully. Otherwise, this game would be pretty impossible. Every attack that an enemy does, it really is dependent on the projectile coming out. If it's a bullet or a dagger, it's like 4 damage, but if it's just a punch, it's only like 1 or 2. So you can just literally just run through everything, and you should have enough health to get to the end. So here we're approaching the end of the game. We're gonna fight a helicopter, which is it's a fight. So in the NES version, I believe that campfire is much later in the stage as well, like right in here. So here you can see the forward momentum not working. There we go. So now we're gonna fight a helicopter with a pistol and try not to get shot too many times. Remember I said we're not going to try and get shot too many times. So the hitboxes are really bad with these bullets. Okay. We'll let the helicopter crash and go down. You can actually get killed by that helicopter. I've had it to where I've ran underneath of that helicopter as it was falling, and it has killed me on a run. So you want to avoid it, even though it is crashing and the boss is quote-unquote defeated. So here we are, we're on the final boss of the game, and the goal here is to hit him, shoot him off the edge of the cliff. This guy is not going to be hanging around. So I kind of want to show off a glitch there. So with the glitch is you can actually lock the game momentarily. You can kind of flip it into a flag where if you listen closely, it played the credit sequence for a while, and then all of a sudden it just stopped, and it was like, oh no, you're falling, you're dying, you need to not do that anymore. It's a really fun glitch to do. This guy is actually really easy to fight, so it's not a big deal at all. So we just sit here and wait. And that's it. That is Cliffhanger for Game Boy. The graphics are fantastic, the music is jubilant, and everything else is as is. I would say if you were to play a version, honestly play the NES version or the Sega CD version. Both of them are exceptionally good. But yeah, anyway, that's all I have for you guys. Thanks for watching both my runs for Big Bad Game-a-thon. Hope you guys enjoyed both, and enjoy the rest of the marathon.